Hello, and welcome to the Against the Ropes talk show, where I'm joined alongside Taylor Berkowitz. So, first, let's run down what happened at Ring of Honor on Saturday. So, Ring of Honor had its last pay-per-view of the year, which was Final Battle. What did you think of it?
Again, unfortunately, did not see it. I've seen clips of it. I really do want to see the dog collar match because I just heard great things about it. Overall, heard it was a great show. A lot of people had some issues about the ending of the Jericho Claudio match, but overall that was a positive. So I think there's a lot of good stuff coming out of ROH, and hopefully they're going in the right direction with things going forward.
Now let's talk about what happened on Monday Night Raw this past week. So we saw Bobby Lashley getting fired by Adam Pearce. What did you think about that?
Well, breaking news, he did rescind the firing, just so everybody knows. Bobby Lashley still gainfully employed by WWE. I thought that was a good ending to it. I thought the match was okay, but I thought it led to a good angle, and again, curious to see if this is going to be another heel turn for Bobby Lashley. In terms of most intriguing thing, I think the Alexa Bliss turn, who knows, is this the Fiendette coming back? But I thought there was a lot of intrigue there. Can we just agree that the whole Miz, Dexter Lumis, Johnny Gargano giving out free stuff to the people in the front row who don't need it was maybe the worst part of that show?
Yeah. I could say that next week, for my anticipation, I'm looking forward to the Dexter Lumis Miz in a ladder match to for the winner takes all. That's what I'm looking forward to the most.
I'm glad you're looking forward to it. Dexter Lumis has never done anything for me. I still don't quite get the character, and unfortunately, I just feel like Johnny Gargano hasn't done on the main roster what he brought to NXT, and you really saw that with the Candice LeRae match, where there was just no heat to that. Candice and Io are two great workers, and there were some botches there, and the crowd wasn't into it. So it'd be interesting to see how those two perform going forward.
Now let's talk about what happened on AEW Dynamite this week. So we saw in the opening match, we saw the Young Bucks and Death Triangle in, I would say, the fourth match in the Best of 7 series,
yes,
if I'm not mistaken. And we saw Death Triangle picking up the victory. What did you think about that match?
Great match. I mean, listen, those three putting on a show every week, to me, there's a reason why a Best of 7 actually works, because you just want to see those guys go at it. And the way they've, announced the structure of the matches going forward, and no DQ, and then I think the last one is going to be a ladder match. You're kind of setting up the fact that, all right, there's going to be a Young Bucks comeback for the next two. But I don't care. It was a great match. Mm-hmm. I'll watch those two anytime.
And now let's throw it to our next segment, where we will be talking about the best or most positive things of the year, the most negative or worst things of the year, and the things that we are optimistic or will happen the most. Hello, and welcome back to Against the Ropes, where now we will be talking about Rosebud Thorn. So, Berk, you want to explain what Rosebud Thorn means?
Yeah, so this is essentially a introspective game, end of the year. You kind of, look back on the year that was, and the rose is the thing you are, the best thing that happened to you during the year. The thorn is the worst thing that happened during the year, and the bud is the thing that you are hoping will blossom next year. But since this is a wrestling show, instead of Rosebud Thorn, it is Mandy Rose, a bag of thumbtacks, and the gobbledygooker's egg, which you're looking forward to, but will probably end up disappointing you. So I'll tell you, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So probably for me, the most positive thing from this year, I would say, is Vince McMahon stepping down as CEO and chairman of WWE, and Triple H taking over creative, because you were able to see Triple H bring back so many talent, like the likes of Bray Wyatt, Johnny Gargano, Hit Row, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. The list goes on and on. And like, what's like your best or like most positive?
Yeah,
thing from
I'm the same. I my Mandy Rose is the Triple H era, and again, it just feels like a fresher product. It feels like there's a lot more potential for things. You have somebody running the creative side of the company that actually likes wrestling, and that's, you know, again, as a fan, that's a breath of fresh air. And you really saw Triple H putting his stamp on things, and I'm excited about, you know, where that goes in the future.
Now let's move on to the most negative or like worst thing that happened from this past year. What's your...
Oh, my bag of thumbtacks is all the AEW drama, and it was such a distraction. You know, this company was moving in such a great direction. You had, you know, looking forward to the summer, and then the story becomes, you know, even before the Punk drama, it becomes, you know, the focus is on Cody and what's happening to him. And then you get all the Punk drama, and now you get the William Regal drama, and you're getting all the... And you just want to focus on the product. They were doing such a great job, you know, the first couple of years through the pandemic. Let's move on. Let's get back to the focus on the young stars, the homegrown talent. So hopefully we can move on. But yeah, that just kind of cooled off AEW a lot.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Like with all the Punk drama that like went down over the summer, and like the Elite leaving as well, I would say that's definitely like my most negative thing that like happened this past year. And now let's talk about like what we're most optimistic or like hope will happen. So for me personally, I really think I'm hoping that The Rock returns for WrestleMania in Hollywood this year. I'm hoping like possibly maybe he comes back at the Rumble, maybe wins the Rumble, and then goes on to challenge Roman Reigns for the undisputed Universal title at WrestleMania.
That would be, I mean, a great way to end the Samoan storyline, and I think it's the one thing they really need to do to end it. I don't know. A comeback, yes. Winning the title, I'm not so sure about, and I think if they can find a way to take the title off of Roman before that, so that it just becomes a storyline between him and The Rock, I think that would be a better way to go about it. But that's a great thing to try to look forward to. For me, again, I'm just hopeful that AEW gets itself back on track, that we can move on, that they move away from some of the Ring of Honor stuff and really focus on their product being the brand. There is one other thing, sort of, you know, peripheral wrestling thing, that's also my hopeful thing, my gobbledygooker egg. There's a movie that is due for release in 2023 called The Iron Claw. It's about the Von Erichs and their family and the tragedy that befell them. Zac Efron is starring as Kevin Von Erich, Jeremy Allen White as Kerry Von Erich. Maxwell Jacob Friedman has a role in this, as well as Lance Von Erich, the fake Von Erich cousin. And I really hope this is a good movie. I really hope this tells the story well. And I hope that it sort of brings an audience into wrestling that, you know, is beyond just the wrestling fan and really gets people invested into what, you know, the old territory wrestling days were all about. So I'm hopeful. Again, unfortunately, gobbledygooker's egg, probably going to be a disappointment, but I'm going to be hopeful.
Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we will have our end of the year awards. So welcome back to Against the Ropes, and right now we will be going over the awards. So our first award is Ring Gear of the Year. Who do you think had the best ring gear?
I'm going with Seth Rollins. I mean, it was such a part of his character this year, and the drip, I mean, everything he was wearing this year, just, it was fun to see, and it just worked with the character.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Seth Rollins as my Ring Gear of the Year, because he was proclaimed the drip god, and he definitely like lived up to that character this year. Now, our next award is Return of the Year. Who is your superstar for Return of the Year?
Give me a hell yeah. It's gotta be Stone Cold. Come on, that was a great match at Mania. It was a lot of fun seeing his interactions leading up to it. I'm not the biggest Stone Cold guy in the world, but even that was fun for me.
So for me, I'm going to have to give it to Bray Wyatt. Returning at Extreme Rules, like with the Firefly Funhouse coming to life, like how it was all done was perfect.
They did a good job with the White Rabbit stuff. I'll give them that.
All right, so our next award is Breakout Star of the Year. Who's your Breakout Star of the Year?
I'm going Austin Theory on this one. Again, you know, you can question some of the decisions and the whole Vince McMahon egg thing at the beginning of the kind of silly. Even him, you know, fumbling the Money in the Bank cash in, but he's on TV all the time. They rebuilt him by giving him the U.S. Championship. I think, you know, under 2 different leaderships, he's been elevated, so he's my Breakout Star of the Year.
So for me personally, my Breakout Star of the Year is Ricky Starks. I think he was able to elevate his career this year by like at the end of the year, like feuding with MJF. I think that was like a great way to like break out this year.
Great promo by him last week, that's for sure.
100%. And now let's go to best promo of the year.
I'll let you take this one first.
All right, so for me personally, I think the promo between Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre, I forgot when the date of that was. I think it was like sometime in the summer, but I'm going to have to go with Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens.
This one I'm giving to Heyman. His promo with Logan Paul, a guy I don't care about, on a pay-per-view I don't care about, and still he sold me on that match. I mean, he's just, you know, it's a masterclass anytime he's on the mic, and to do that in a nothing match that we know where it's going, I think that he did a great job.
All right, so let's throw to our next award, which is worst promo of the year. What do you think is the worst promo?
I mean, it could be any time that Ronda Rousey is on the mic, but I think the worst one, unfortunately, was Saraya, in that, you know, her return promo after coming back to AEW. I know she's been out for a while, you're nervous, but boy, that was just cringeworthy watching it.
So for me personally, I would have to go with, definitely the Ronda Rousey. The Ronda Rousey promos, like when she first came back, those were definitely hard to watch.
It's an evergreen statement to say Ronda Rousey is bad on the mic.
And now let's throw it to our next award, which is pay-per-view / premium live event of the year. What's your pay-per-view / premium live event of the year?
Mine was Clash at the Castle. I thought that, I mean, again, it was the first real show where you saw Triple H's stamp on things. The Walter, or whatever he's called now, Gunther versus Sheamus match is a match of the year candidate. On top of that, did I love the booking, the way the Drew Roman ended? No, but you got Solo Sikoa's debut. And the thing with Tyson Fury at the end where they're singing American Pie, it felt organic. It felt like a completely different era. Tight show. Saturday afternoon wrestling is just great. It was a lot of fun. That was my pay-per-view of the year.
All right, so for me personally, I would have to go with WrestleMania 38 in Dallas. I think 2 nights of WrestleMania, amazing. You got Stone Cold and Kevin Owens the first night of WrestleMania, and then you also got Cody Rhodes against Seth freaking Rollins the first night. Then the next night you get Roman and Brock for the Undisputed Universal title. You get Stone Cold again. You get Vince McMahon against Pat McAfee. It was just stacked top to bottom. There was a lot of surprises and moments throughout the night.
I thought both nights were really good, other than it just being a lot and very long, and I wish things were shorter in one night. Great, good show all around, no doubt about that.
All right, and now let's throw to rivalry of the year. Who's your rivalry of the year?
That for me is FTR versus the Briscoes. I mean, again, 2 tag teams that built heat. The Briscoes aren't even allowed on television, and FTR wasn't on that much, and they still had, you know, arguably 3 of the best matches of the year. Without that development, they did it on their own. They get rivalry of the year for me.
So for me, I'm going to have to go with MJF and CM Punk, because their promos were absolutely amazing.
I agree, but where's the payoff is the problem. That's the tough part.
I'd say at Revolution, the dog collar match.
Yeah, I just think, unfortunately with what happened, I think we wanted more, and man, I would have loved to have seen it again. We're just not going to get, it doesn't seem like we're going to get that, but
Yeah.
maybe a hint to my heel of the year.
All right, and speaking of which, we're going into Babyface of the Year. Who's your Babyface of the Year?
All right, so I'm going a different direction here. My babyface, and I apologize if I get this wrong, but it's Joe Palazzolo and Ted Mann. They are the Wall Street Journal reporters who broke the Vince McMahon hush money payment story. And ultimately, this is the thing that took down the biggest name in professional wrestling for the last 3, almost 4 decades. I mean, that is, and it's changed the face of wrestling, changed the face of the WWE. They took out the biggest heel. They're the biggest baby faces.
All right, so for me personally, Babyface of the Year, I'm going to have to give it to Matt Riddle. Between him and Seth freaking Rollins, like their feud, like starting at SummerSlam and ending at Clash at the Castle, I think their feud was one of my favorite feuds of this past year. And just like their promos, like when Matt Riddle went off on Seth Rollins on the camera, I think that was
he might have fumbled it recently though. That's our
Yeah.
only problem, getting
Matt Riddle,
getting popped. Oops,
Yep.
sorry, Matt.
All right, so next let's go to heel of the year. Who is your heel of the year?
It's CM Punk. I mean, again, you're talking about a guy who he didn't destroy a company, but he certainly really cooled it off. And again, it's not that he's playing that role. The Great Bomb, that's a heel move. He's my heel of the year.
Well, I'm going to have to go with MJF on this one. Leaving AEW for a while in June and then coming back at All Out, I think that was a really heelish move to do.
I agree.
And then also you see it on Twitter, MJF being an All Out heel on Twitter, just tweeting out a bunch of crap and stuff.
He's living the life, I'll
Yep.
tell you that much.
So now let's go to Tag Team of the Year. Who's your Tag Team of the Year?
I'll give this one to you first, let's see.
So I'm going to have to go with FTR. I feel like FTR was able to elevate their career this year by winning the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships and also by winning the AAA Tag Team Championships and having just 5-star matches every single show and pay-per-view.
For me, well, we're going to find out if you can say "Scissor Me Daddy Ass" on Wayne Hills Television or if this gets bleeped out, but everybody loves the Acclaimed. They're my tag team of the year.
And now let's go to Female Superstar of the Year. Who's your Female Superstar of the Year?
Rhea Ripley. Great in ring, great with what she's doing with Dominic. She might be maybe overall Superstar of the Year, but she's number 1 for me.
For me, I'm going to have to go with Jade Cargill. I feel like she was able to dominate this year as the TBS Women's Champion. She was able to win it in January. In January at the Prudential Center, and I think that was definitely my female superstar of the year.
Can't argue there. She's got the look.
And then let's go to male superstar of the year. Who's your male superstar of the year?
Sami Zayn. Everything he's doing, as an honorary Uso, everything with the bloodline, but great in ring, and more than Roman, he's been wrestling a lot more, so I give it to him.
I'm going to have to go with Roman Reigns for my male superstar of the year. He's been on just a rampage throughout WWE. If you look back at his title reign this year, he was able to give prestige to the Universal and WWE Championship this year. So that's why I'm going to have to go with Roman Reigns. And now let's go to Match of the Year. What is your Match of the Year?
This is a big one. Match of the Year, FTR Briscoes at SuperCard of Honor. I mean, again, they've had 3 that are arguably up there, but that to me was the best and it was the most memorable.
For me, I'm going to have to go with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 38. I feel like it was able to resurrect Cody Rhodes' career. I would say, like, just like a fresh start to like the new Cody Rhodes. Like, if you get what I'm saying.
They rang the bell without giving us the 3 count. But I agree. I mean, that was definitely up there.
With the year coming to a close, there's been a lot of breathtaking moments in the world of pro wrestling. With 2023 right around the corner, there's so much to look forward to. But that's going to wrap it up for the first episode of the Against the Ropes talk show. Thank you for watching.